Hello, Internet. It is the 17th of March 2013, and this is the webcam report from Michael Wilson. First things first, I would like to apologise if I sound really tired. It is because I am very, very tired indeed, and I will explain why in a few moments. First of all, there is some bad news for this particular report. The bad news is I haven't done an awful lot of writing this week. Unlike last week, it has not been because I was particularly busy, but I will explain it fully in its own section later in the report. First of all, there is also good news, which is always great. The good news is that the F1 was back this weekend and was back in tremendous style in Melbourne. Unfortunately, that's why I'm so tired, and for that ridiculously long pause just then, because it's in Melbourne, I had to get up very early Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to keep an eye on what was going on, and yeah. It's catching up on me slowly now, but it was well worth it, so I don't regret it at all. Lastly, I would like to wish everyone in Ireland, North and South, a very happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope it has been wonderful and full of cheer and celebration, and I hope it continues to be while the night is still young over in Ireland. So first things first is writing, and as I said, unfortunately I haven't done a lot of it this week. I've been really struggling with Chapter 4. I'm not quite sure why, but the emotional scene that I wrote last week, if you were watching, that still works, but I had a bit of trouble, or I have had a bit of trouble, continuing on from that point. It just seems, everything I try seems to be really awkward. I don't know whether this is a pattern that occurs for authors, but I always seem to struggle with it. Once an emotional scene is taking place, the aftermath is just so awkward between characters, and it takes a while to fix. But yesterday I sat down and I had a small conversation with my editor. We threw some ideas around. I took some stuff out. I put some stuff in. I took it out again. And after a while of that, I found something that I think will work. And I'm hoping to implement it, or I've started implementing it already. But I'm hoping to finish it, or at least finish implementing it, so to say, this week. Like I said, struggling to get anything to work. So, yeah, it's frustrating. I think sometimes it happens, and there's a long way to go with it. But 7 days, we'll see. I'll get back to you on it next week. As far as actual writing goes, that is it for this week. That really bugs me, actually, that I have to say that so soon after the start of the report, but these things happen, and what can you do? However, I did have an interesting conversation with my younger sister. As a quick explanation as to why this is important, she is breaking into the acting industry at the same time I'm breaking into the writing industry, and we have quite a few conversations about how we can better achieve that goal. And we had an interesting conversation today, hilarious, as most conversations with my younger sister are. And she actually came up with some pretty good promotional ideas, which were creative promotional ideas. So I want to say look out for them. They're without a trace connected. And look out for them later on in the year, and then thank her because she came up with them, because she's a genius. Who knew? I have a genius for a younger sister. While this was not a big week for writing for me, this weekend was quite a big sporting event. I know I don't look like the kind of person who likes sports, stereotypically, but I do. I do have a couple of sports that I really am quite fond of. The first of which is rugby union. And this week was the end of the Six Nations competition. For those of you who don't know, Six Nations is a league competition between England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Italy, and France. And it's absolutely fantastic. One of the best competitions in the world, one of the best sporting competitions in the world, at the very least. And this year was interesting because it started well. In the middle, it was kind of poor. And this weekend was absolutely fantastic. Some amazing rugby being played, which was great to watch. And I want to send my congratulations to Cardiff, who I'm sure are still celebrating along with the rest of Wales for winning the competition, retaining their title, and absolutely flattening an otherwise impervious England team. 30-3 it was yesterday. Quite unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen England so comprehensively beaten in 20 years. It's quite unbelievable. So well done, Wales, for doing that. I'm very impressed because I thought England were going to walk away with the game. So well done. My condolences also to France, who, despite beating Scotland quite well, they did well this weekend. Unfortunately, they still came last, having lost all of their other games except one, which they drew. It's a shame. It's a real shame because a competitive France makes almost every rugby union competition quite interesting to watch, and they were very, very good favourites to win the Six Nations this year, and it just didn't click. Something just didn't work. Sometimes that happens, and yeah, better luck next year. That's all you can really say. Also, condolences to England because it was horrific. It was a massacre yesterday. Actually, decimation, 30-3. That works as a, divide by 10. I can do maths. Yeah, England, they won their first 4 of the 5 games. I really thought they were going to go for the Triple Crown, beating Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, and get the Grand Slam, which is beating all of the other 5 teams. And they were trounced. Wales just walked all over them. I'm not quite sure why. There are a lot of comments saying that England just didn't turn up. They left themselves in Twickenham, and yeah, they came so close. It's a little frustrating because it would have been nice to see England raising the trophy for the first time since 2006, I think, and the Grand Slam, which they've not had since they won the World Cup in 2003. So unfortunate, but it was a very good game and a very good tournament for them as well. And I think it gives them it still gives them a lot of leeway to get England players into the Lions squad. Quick explanation: the Lions, the British and Irish Lions, team made up of all of the internationals from Scotland, Wales, Ireland, England. And they are going to Australia during the summer. It's going to be fantastic. They are playing the Barbarians. They are playing the Australian national team. They are playing, I think, 6 Australian league teams and the Kiwis, I believe. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a very good competition. And the Six Nations this year was sort of acting as a rehearsal to see which of the players would get in. So I think England have done enough to get a good percentage of players into the team. As of Wales, Scotland and Ireland, there were impressive performances from individual players. So they will contribute. But the main interest, I think, in rugby union for the next couple of months is which number 7, which open side flanker will they take with them? Will it be Sam Warburton or will it be Chris Robshaw? Because both of them performed beyond admirably in the Six Nations. So even though Sam Warburton was injured for most of it, he still managed to at least book himself a plane ticket on the reserve bench. So it's going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to it. And there is no more rugby union news, so I am going to move on to F1 with a massive grin on my face. As I said at the beginning of the piece, the F1 was in Australia. It was in Melbourne this week, and I got up especially to see the qualifying at 5:30 on Saturday morning. They got through one qualifying session only for it to be very bizarrely rained off. I don't remember that ever happening in Australia before. They had to reconvene on Sunday morning. They did so, and what was supposed to be a really intriguing and mysterious qualifying session turned out exactly how everyone thought it was going to after pre-season testing. The Red Bulls locked out the front row, and the Mercedes, the Ferraris, the Lotuses were very close behind them. McLaren were nowhere, unfortunately. And it set itself up for what looked like was going to be a Vettel domination weekend. But then tyre degradation happened. The Red Bull, though it looked quick in qualifying, nowhere near as good in the race. It just ate its tyres, and I don't know, it looks like it's going to be an interesting season for them, actually, because tyre degradation issues are not easily solved unless you know exactly what the problem is. And what's more, or what should be more worrying for them, is that both Fernando Alonso in the Ferrari had a much easier time on the tyres, and somehow, out of nowhere, Kimi Räikkönen in the Lotus just obliterated everybody by managing to make a set of tyres last the equivalent of 17 more miles than everybody else, and still went quicker, and then told the entire pack that it was easy to do that, which is a worrying sign for Red Bull, Ferrari, and everyone else involved. But it was a fantastic Grand Prix. It was great to watch, and even though I am now shattered, it was totally worth it. So well done to Räikkönen for a very for a very good, very strong, easy, he says, victory. Well done also to Alonso, because there were some great tactical decisions going on at the Ferrari pit wall, which I'm sure Alonso was probably part of. Unlucky for Vettel, because he just didn't stand a chance today, just wasn't quick enough. Sometimes it happens, and I hope that McLaren can get their car fixed. It would take an entire other webcam report to explain what their issues are, so I won't go into it, but I hope they improve soon. And very much looking forward to Malaysia next weekend. Going to be awesome. So before I go, I want to remind you all again that on the 30th of March it is International Tabletop Day, and you should spend the day playing tabletop games, be them board games, card games, pen and paper RPGs. It's Es ist egal, they would say in German. It translates loosely as it doesn't matter. It's just awesome to play tabletop games, great team building, great family exercise. So please, please, please have a look into that. International Tabletop Day. I believe you can go to www.tabletopday.com to find more information. So yeah, 30th of March, look into it because it's an international event and it's going to be very, very good. I will now say goodbye. Thank you for your company. Thank you for putting up with me, even though I know I must sound awful. I can't promise that I won't be the same next week because Malaysia is another Grand Prix, obviously further forward in time from me, so I must get up early. But my entire life revolves around Formula One, and I won't make apologies for that. So until next time, take care. I hope your weeks are great. Just, have fun. And I will speak to you soon. Until then, goodbye.